Welcome in, everybody. It is 2024. We have officially made it a full year on Scarves and Spikes. I am Tyler Pilgrim. This is Tommy, and
What's up?
Not with us tonight. He is busy, has some things going on. But Tommy,
did he go to
New
Cincinnati?
Year.
Did he get transferred to Cincinnati?
I think he did,
or Columbus. That's where apparently all of our team members go.
Probably Cincy. But we'll get a replacement from League Two.
He goes to Kentucky a lot, so that makes sense.
There.
He's closer to family now.
Yeah.
So
how was your New Year?
Relaxing.
A
couple Jello shots. Yeah, it wasn't that crazy.
Okay.
We actually celebrated New Year's Eve the night before. We went to like a wine country, and everything's like half price the night before Thanksgiving, right? So it was like $350 for a hotel on New Year's Eve. It was like $150.
Okay, I was like, whoa, what holiday we talking about?
Yeah, I'm not spending that much for a hotel, but the night before it was like $150.
That's not bad.
Yeah, so you just celebrate the holiday before.
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
You?
It was good. It was relaxing as well, and it was nice just kind of getting away from everything for the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024. I cooked some yummy food, did our traditions, and watched some fireworks, and slept a lot, which was nice.
Do you have your kids on New Year's Eve?
Why would I not have my kids on New Year's Eve?
I haven't had my kids on New Year's Eve since like they were 5.
Oh,
we're very lucky. We've got family, but yeah, we sent them off to another house. Yeah, I don't want to deal with them.
The only one that didn't make it to midnight was Stella. She tried. She couldn't hang. So the rest of them did, though. Got a little crazy.
Nope, I transfer them all to another family.
Speaking of transfers, the perfect segue.
Here we go.
We have lots to talk about. We're going to talk about all of the Atlanta transfer news and rumors and gobbledygook and whatever else we have going on. And it's silly season, so we're going to get you guys caught up on all the silliness. We're also going to talk about a fundraiser that I want you guys to take a look at. It's very near and dear to me personally, so I'm going to hit on it in a little bit, but I really want you guys to just take a look, go have some fun, raise some money for a good cause. So we're going to chat about that. And yeah, in the chat, you guys make sure y'all are letting us know questions, comments, concerns, gripes, whatever, because I know Twitter was off the chain today, and Tommy wants to answer some questions for y'all, hopefully at the end. So it's gonna be a fun episode. We're gonna have a good one. Be a good way to bring in 2024. And with that, I think Tommy has been waiting for hours to go on a rant about what happened with Miles Robinson today. Miles Robinson, if you did not know, as of this morning, it came out, Tom Bogert reporting that he is signing with Cincinnati. We kind of saw it coming, but both teams made it official within the past, 2-3 hours or so.
Yeah.
So, Tommy, what are your feelings on Miles Robinson to Cincinnati?
So before we get to today, we got to go back because I think a lot of people have forgotten the Miles drama that has happened throughout time, right? You know, we're going into the season, regular season, World Cup season. Miles' stock is getting up there, but it's not at its peak yet. He's going to go play in the World Cup. He's going to most likely start, and the value is going to go up there. He gets injured, right? He's only got a year left on his contract. Bad timing, right? Real bad timing of how this is all going down. You couldn't predict the injury. You don't sell off a guy right before his value is likely going to peak. Bad timing. You end up really having no value for him because he's got to recover. You're not sure that, he's going to fully recover. So teams aren't going to go and make some crazy offers for him. And he comes back, right? He comes back and he does really well, right? We don't expect him to start. And he plays well for like 3-4 games, right? Like he's doing well. On our show, we had people saying, "Oh, can we get Miles?" Oh yeah, I should be ranting more. I should be getting mad. I'll get there.
He's working his way up to it, guys.
Yeah, he comes in, first 4 games, everything's great, right? People are saying he's better. He's better than ever. He's faster. We're not allowing 7 goals a game. Immediately we're not allowing a goal early on. Everything's great, and then things start get going downhill, right? And it's not just Miles. We can't blame Miles for this. We can blame Parada, Abram, Ibarra, Sosa, everyone on the defensive side of the ball that was there. And then those questions stopped. Nobody was asking, should we make Miles a DP anymore? That was there. Now, what was Boca's response since last season, right? It was, we offered him, a contract, max TAM, like that's been the rumor here for a while. I think a lot of people, at least, did not want him on a max TAM contract, right? Because of how he's been playing recently. And then today happens, and people are just losing their minds about this. And it's not just one person, because I was going back and forth on Twitter today. Blaming the front office for this situation. We don't have Miss Cleo employed at Atlanta United, right? She can't predict when predictions are going to happen. Or I'm sorry, when injuries are going to happen, right? She can't predict when an injury is going to happen.
We have a prediction winner, Tommy Damas over here.
Yeah, I couldn't even predict it. So there you go. And it's just ridiculous at this point. It's bad timing. That's how it was. We didn't want to get rid of him. No other team would have sold Miles Robinson earlier because they knew that the stock was going to be more. The bag was going to be more. You sell him early on, it's going to be ridiculous of what the other team could get if he was going to move on. He hasn't moved on. He ended up not going to Europe. There's been rumors that there haven't even been many offers, right? And a legitimate offer. There was interest. Guys, we got to stop blaming the front office for everything here. I understand how people think that everybody that leaves Atlanta United hates the club afterwards. By the way, he thanked the club in his tweet. So Doug Robertson wrote that, there's no friction between the club and Miles. Like, everything is fine. Yes, it sucks that when a player moves on, that you're going to be upset about it. And now, I saw someone tweet, this is like officially it. There's no more players from the Atlanta United, championship team here, or the original team. That's fine. Like that, it's going to happen. MLS sucks. MLS is not made for you to keep your own teammates, right? You've got to sell. If this club's going to go on, you got to keep selling. You got to keep moving. It sucks. It happens. But God, like, everything doesn't have to be Boca's fault or, Garth's fault or Darren Eales or whatever. This was just a bad timing of a situation. You couldn't sell him, this season, and he moves on. And now Cincinnati, the whole situation with Cincinnati, I think he's just buying, he's banking on going to play for a team that's better right now. I think that Cincinnati has been a very good team. Defensively, they've been very solid. Miles has played on a non-defensive team for 2 years, leading the league in goals allowed. It's a bad situation. So, yeah, he's getting off a turf, which is another thing. I know people don't like me bringing up the turf situation, but that could be something here. He might now want to play most of his season on turf. And he was a 1-year contract, right?
1-year contract with an option.
Yeah.
Which is important, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. I just don't, I think he's just betting on himself here, which I think is good for him, and then move on somewhere else. bank your value up, because I think Cincinnati is a good team and they're going to be a very good team next year. So why not just take your time, stay here, get ready, be a starter, because I think that's what we have always wanted from Miles Robinson before he left was don't go sign somewhere else and then not get your time in, because if he doesn't get his time in, he's not going to be a first choice for the U.S. team, right? Oh,
Right.
he's just been sitting there on the bench. So he's going to play with Cincinnati nonstop. He didn't get a DP deal here. He got less than max TAM, because I think that's the max that they probably maxed out whatever they could officially offer, right?
Yeah.
And that's it.
I
But
like
God,
it.
it just doesn't have to be so angry about
I was
everything. Like,
expecting a little more anger in that rant, but
I'm angry now because you're making me angry because I'm not angry enough. I don't know. I feel there's a point in time here. We got to stop blaming. Like, everything isn't the end of the world. And I think most people that have watched, nothing against Miles here, okay? It's the whole team. We've talked about it all season. This team is bad defensively. But you look at some of the brain farts that he made in the playoffs towards the end of the year. I am more than fine letting him go. I think some people would be more upset if we signed him for a max TAM. I think Gregerson, I don't know, what the offer was, and as far as what his contract is going to be, but I'm sure it's not max TAM, right?
I mean, it was mentioned, I think, from Felipe or the Athletic. I don't know if it's Felipe or Tom, that the Cincinnati's offer essentially would mean Miles is making slightly less than he would have made, and that's where I think a lot of it's the front office's screw up is coming from. There's so many other factors that you have to look into besides just him making, maybe
Less.
$1,000 less dollars a week or something, like whatever it is, right?
Because
Like,
they can't, right? Just to make sure I understand, they couldn't offer him the same contract as Atlanta United. They can only offer him a little less, correct?
that I don't know. That I'm not sure.
Okay, that's what I've read on the interwebs.
I don't
know if
know
that's true
because
or
he's a
not.
free agent. So essentially, I think they could have done what they wanted to. I think.
Okay, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
So look, that part. Don't quote us on those specifics, but
You can
regardless,
quote me, because if you're wrong, you just blame me for it. That's more than fine.
there we go.
And Colonel, I'm not saying Atlanta United's not going to be a good team, but if I'm Miles Robinson, I'm banking on what I know, right? Because this team has sucked. It allows goals in nonstop. We've watched it every week, right? We score a goal, what's going to happen? They're going to score a goal. It's frustrating. He's banking on himself, playing on a better defensive team, a team that just had the best record, right? Won the Supporter Shield, and hopefully that, banks his value up a little bit. Maybe he doesn't believe in Pineda's defensive tactics, right? Maybe he doesn't think that he can show off in this system, and that's fine. If that's what he thinks, that's more than fine.
Yeah, and you also have to think there's so many other factors in this. Timeout. Pause. Let me hit on some of the stuff from the chat real quick. There's so many other factors to this whole thing than just what's at face value. Let's see. Going back, first of all, Travis asking the real questions. I think Miss Cleo could get a TAM deal. Totally agree. Sheets. And can the front office use Miss Cleo in a contractor role? AX10 saying, am I the only one that's actually happy Miles has moved on? It was time for both him and the team. Need something new. Zilf pointing out, yeah, real fact, our only back-to-back clean sheets came when Miles was out on international duty. There's a lot in here, which I'm glad y'all keep throwing them into the chat.
I hope I didn't anger too many people. I've angered the Colonel. I've angered him. I don't think it's going to be bad, but I think he needed a change. The club needed a change, and you see all these rumors of all these center backs we're looking at, right? I'm questioning even if Abram's going to be here next season.
I mean, unless they decide to get rid of him, he's there, but I think he's gonna have some competition. I don't think he's gonna be your slotted in guy. I don't think that's the only thing really that he really has going for him is that he's naturally left-footed, so he fits, right? So the most common sense move I think would be whoever your right center back is, which we're gonna probably talk about here in a minute, and then Abram. But you have so many other potential Rimmers center backs coming in. First of all, just to squash, I think the big thing, and it's fair, right, to question kind of what happened when your star center back leaves, goes to another team that's in the same conference, blah, blah, blah. One, you have to argue that actually the team did right by him, because I was there both times in this year at the training ground when Carlos Bocanegra told all of the media that they had offered, and he said it more than twice, but they had offered Miles the max deal that they could give him, which you can translate that, I believe, as a max TAM deal. They're not going to make him a DP. They were not going to make him a DP, period. Walker Zimmerman being at Nashville on a DP deal is just, that's not the norm, right? That's not the norm. That's not to say certain teams like Nashville that are very defensive oriented can't come out and do that, but Atlanta's not going to do that. They have so much stuff going on in their attack. They want to be that style of football, and that's fine. Then you go back, you talk about the turf, right? Whether we blame the turf or we don't blame the turf, it is what it is. But there is an argument there that can be made. What happened to him happened on turf. And so, yeah, maybe he's a little weary. Maybe he's a little weary. But the front office coming out and doing what they can to essentially let him go, right? He goes out as a free agent. They're not trying to block anything, do anything shady, do anything sketchy to try to force him out of the league. Yes, you're going to have to play Miles Robinson a couple times next year. It is what it is. That's fine. It sucks, but it's fine. It also sucks that he's going to be paired up with Matt Miazga, which is another, I think, reason, a really strong reason that a guy like Miles is going to want to go and play for a team like that. World Cup, you mentioned it. He's going to be coming up playing against another very, very solid center back on a team that didn't really give up a ton of goals last year anyway. So to have both of those two together, yeah, that's a tough defense to crack for any other team. So as Miles, we already knew he was going to do what was best for Miles. We had said this on our show and on the Twitter Spaces months ago, back after the World Cup. We were talking about how Miles is betting on himself, whether he makes it to Europe, which I did. I'll admit, I thought he was going to go to Europe. But whatever he does, he's going to make his visibility the most to be able to be on that World Cup squad in 2026 because he has time to make up for. And that's it is what it is. It's totally fine. I don't think you can blame the front office. And I've had this Instagram post up this whole time. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the last sentence from Miles: only love and appreciation goes to the whole Atlanta United organization and the beloved fans. So I just don't see any animosity there, not just because of that sentence, but I see him in the locker room, see him at the training ground. Now, could there be stuff that we don't know about? Abso-freaking-lutely. But it just doesn't seem like that was the issue. It's business. It happens. He's going to go to do what's best for his career. Sometimes you need a change. Honestly, Miles was here way longer than he probably should have been, and it was great for Atlanta. But at some point, you got to move on. And if you're a defender, you want to go to a team that has a good defense. It's that simple.
Yeah,
That's my rant. I'm done.
Well, and you talk about the front office, and I have felt this way at times too when we're hot and heated, and most recently was the Ibarra situation, right? We hear initial reports. Ibarra shows up for practice. They tell him to get the hell out of here. I'm exaggerating this story. And then, Tyler's there just taking pictures of him as he walks away, like the Paul Walker scene at the end of Fast and Furious, right? Like that's how it seemed. And that's how the fan base acted. And that's how we acted with the Ibarra situation, right? Then you go back and you got the Joseph Martinez situation, right? Joseph didn't get to start his last game and all of this and drama there. And Almirón, right? There was a story about Almirón and how the front office wasn't, handling his transfer correctly. Like, yeah, these situations are there, and unfortunately, it's just business. Now, some of them are more public than others. Some players are loud and want to talk, and we just happen to have quite a few characters. And Ibarra, and, you have Felipe, who, talks to a lot of Atlanta United players, so it's very open for us, and we don't see it happen with other teams, but this is just... roster mechanics, and it's annoying that you have to do some of this. And like, we were freaking out with Ibarra, but like, look what happened. They were able to move Ibarra. You were able to bring Mascara into the lineup, who ended up being, quote unquote super sub, right? Scored a lot of goals for us, and you really didn't miss a step. And you were able to go bring in other players as well that kind of fill that spot up, right? Miamba was able to come in, so things aren't always as bad as they seem. And usually after the smoke clears, things, are calm. But like, there is no smoke here. There's absolutely no smoke. There's no rumors that Atlanta United and Miles had a breaking up. There's nothing. He thanked the team. He's out. There's nothing more than that. Yeah, our championship team is completely gone. Right. And I mean, the initial team, right?
Yes, the initial team.
Of everyone there. TBD on Guzan at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're being technical, you still got Caleb Wiley, even though he was 12 at the time. But hey.
Okay. Yeah, he was a minor. We can't talk about him yet. But yeah, I mean, there's just nothing bad about this situation. And I think it's just getting annoying at this point that we've got to find a blame for our favorite players leaving a team here. It sucks. We're fans. That's what we are. We don't do this all the time if we're not fans of this team, right? But you don't always have to find someone to blame. Sometimes it's just better for someone to move on. And as we get on to these transfers, rumors, there's some U22s likely on their way out. And you know what? It's going to be for the better for them, because they're going to be able to play, and Sosa was not getting much playing time at all.
Yeah. And that's
all right. I'm done. I'm done with Miles. Goodbye.
Hang on. Edgar saying the fact that he left for free too is crazy. And yeah, I mean, it sucks is what it sucks.
We're not poor.
Crazy.
We're not poor.
Well, yeah, that's right. You could always have that pedestal to step on with Atlanta. You have money regardless. But I think when those of us sitting in our room playing Football Manager and FIFA are like, oh, I got to get the max amount of money I can for this guy. I mean, Atlanta, it doesn't matter. Arthur Blank's going to throw money. It is what it is. You're not running this. You are running it as a business. I'm not saying you're not, but you're not having to run this as if the wrong move could put you under. And yes, Zilf saying we didn't spend anything on him either. We got him in the super draft. So anything that you would have made on him would have been pure profit. So yeah, it's a missed opportunity, but it's not a missed opportunity from anybody's fault other than fate. Like, he had his injury at the worst possible time, period.
For him, for us, for all parties, for all parties involved.
Had he made it to the World Cup, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, because he would have been gone that offseason, last offseason. It happened. It is what it is.
Unless he fouled someone in the box and an elimination game.
Well, yeah, yes. And then you just come back a year later and you serve your suspension then. It'd be what it'd be.
You know what the worst part of this situation is that U.S. soccer Twitter is just going to hate on Miles for one more year at least.
Yes.
Oh, he's on MLS? He couldn't go to Europe. There were no offers for him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's going to be
That's actually probably one of the most annoying parts of this is.
Yeah.
I've already seen the hot takes on U.S. Twitter.
Yeah. Miles went where Miles wanted to go. And look, a year and then a year option. That gives you a year to stand out on a good team, or a team that's coming off of a good season anyway, and boost your value even more. And then maybe it's Cincinnati that makes something off of them. It is what it is, guys. Period. That's all I got to say about Miles. Now, it is what it is. It be what it be. There's really nobody to be mad about in this situation. It's just part of the game. It can suck, but that doesn't mean somebody's always at fault. So that is Miles
Paul Walker song. He's not dead, I know, but he's gone, but not forgotten. Got to create that meme where it's the road, right? The Vin Diesel and Paul Walker thing. One's Atlanta, one's coming to my hood. You made that drive. You went from Atlanta to Cincinnati.
I did. And then all of a sudden, Miles for Cincy shows up on TQL Stadium like the day after I drive back through. Like, we must have met in passing. Yeah, it was weird. All right. So that is Miles.
25 minutes later.
That was the big news. That was part of the rant. We still have plenty to talk about, though. That was just what dropped this morning. I see we're starting 2024 with our habit, I guess, of having shows on days that we have news that drops. Pretty big news. The inverse of Miles leaving, though. This is another one that kind of, it's not official, but it's Tom Bogert and others official.
It's Tom Bogert official. Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah,
Congratulations on his YouTube channel now.
Yeah, for sure. Met him up in Columbus at the Cup, which was really cool for a quick second. But Zilf saying Gregerson clears Miles. So yes, we're going to talk about it's John Gregerson, center back from guess where, League Two. But yeah, report by and I'm going to butcher the name, Emery Tisney, I think, but Tom Bogert as well. $2 million.
This is why
transfer.
we need Sydney to pronounce names.
I tried to do my research, but some of these are hard. Wait till we get to the Polish stuff. Ooh, I'm going to butcher that really bad. But yeah, $2 million transfer, and Bordeaux, which is the club he's at now, getting a 10% sell-on fee. So, I mean, you got a guy that Bordeaux's fans are like losing their minds about losing. And as a center back, like they're having their Miles Robinson moment right now, except Miles Robinson is in a situation where, you know, he was coming off some issues. We just talked about it, but Gregerson is one of the bright spots on Bordeaux's team right now. So if Atlanta can pull this off, which it pretty much seems like that's going to happen, they wind up with the Miles Robinson replacement, I think. And
for hopefully less money too.
Huh?
Hopefully with less money too.
Yes. Norwegian international, which is, I mean, look, it's always good to have that subtitle under it, international. That means that they've caught interest somewhere. You had other teams in the chase for him, but you got a guy that's going to bring a lot to Atlanta United, and a lot of that is going to be experience, but the guy's no pushover in terms of athleticism. He's a big Nordic guy, right? So for those thinking like, oh, we're losing, you know, this athletically gifted Miles Robinson, and I've even said it all season, like when Miles Robinson is gone, it's going to suck not having that guy that's that athletic. I don't know who's faster. I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend I know, you know, who's more athletic, but just know Gregerson is not a pushover. So
he scores goals too.
Yeah. Yes, he does. So, I mean, I'm hoping that all the funny business in terms of visas and all that stuff has already started. I mean, I know
it's January 3rd. We got time, man.
I mean, you got time, yeah, but look, the earlier the better. You don't want to be on visa watch.
No, but it's January 3rd. Like these rumors, historically, these rumors don't start until February 1st for us, right?
Oh,
like
sure.
right before they all start leaving for preseason. So it's nice that these rumors are coming, you know, right after the new year. So you have time to get these guys in. And I think that's ultimately been a goal for them for Atlanta United. Is getting these guys in as soon as possible. So I think that's extremely helpful. And the other take on Twitter today was, oh, League Two? We're bringing a guy in from League Two? Silva would like to have a conversation with you, please. He's down the hall watching Spider-Man. Just go have a talk with him, because a lot of people trash-talked him when he came in and said he was going to be nothing. And, you know, obviously he was pretty impressive, you know, at the end there.
And Muyumba, like,
yeah,
you're picking on folks that not only did they come here from this league and fit in, but they come in here and excelled and made the team better. I don't know what else you can ask for.
It's just
honeypot.
It's MLS. It's U.S. soccer, just in a different way. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what? You're not in Europe. Well, here it is. This is how it is. That's what people do, is they just judge them before they come in here, and you know, we just have to see. I mean, you look at his numbers, and you know, a lot of people have posted the graphs. You know, him versus Miles. It looks like we're getting the better guy. We don't know. We don't know how people are going to translate to MLS, right? Some people cannot translate over. You know, I saw early in the post, or in the chat, someone said, Miles wasn't a leader. I mean, he seemed, at least to me, he was always a pretty quiet guy on and off
Yeah.
the field. That just seems what it is. But Zilf writes, I hope he's vocal. Yeah, for sure. Like
Yeah.
you need leaders, and I don't think this team's lacking leadership. I think that you have so many new players on this team that it's really hard for someone to go and be the leader, because I don't think, you look at Brooks. I look at him as one of the guys that, somehow he's been here, the longest, one of the longest tenured players on this team, because we had so much turnover over the years. But like he could be a leader. But I mean, we've heard Yakimakis talk. He sounds like he's a guy that is ready to step up, but he didn't want to jump in on this because he was a brand new player, right? But you've got a lot of guys that talk the talk, but defensively, yes, I don't see Abram as being that vocal guy either back there. So if Gregerson can be there and help lead that back line, I think then you're really set up for greatness.
And also be a leader for the center back core that you have coming up from the twos, right? You got Noah Cobb, you've got Efrain Morales. They're going to have their opportunities, obviously, training with the first team. And having a guy that's had that experience overseas is going to be big, because Miles, as great of a player as Miles is, he was definitely not the vocal guy, not even kind of. And it's not a knock on him. He's just kind of a shyer dude. Just the person he is. Not everybody's going to be a Yakimakis or a Bragdazan. That's totally fine. But Gregerson's a guy, at least from what I've read, saw, been reported, that Gregerson's going to be a guy that's going to be back there and he's going to help keep things under control. And you also have the benefit that he has played and can play, not saying he will play, but has been in and around the central midfield role or defensive midfield role as well. Not central, defensive midfield role. So he not only is going to, help with that right side there with Brooks Lennon, I'm assuming, right? Because again, Luis Abram is going to be your other guy, I think, for now. But you've got a guy that's going to be keeping from the back towards the front, keeping that line in check and helping out whoever does make it over here as the 6 replacement, as that defensive midfield replacement. So I'm excited. I think it's so funny because this is the year of being excited about defensive moves, because you have so many going on right now. But Atlanta United fans should be genuinely excited about this. Yes, any transfer can be great on paper and then it goes bad. But Garth Lagerwey, Carlos Bocanegra this past calendar year have had a pretty good track record with what they've been doing. So I think you've got a gem here that's going to be coming to Atlanta. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and
Zilf, Abram can speaking.
He can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be like the number one goal of the front office, is make the defense better, because you don't have much that you have to fix offensively. If you keep Almada, Mayumba, you're still gonna go out and find some defensive midfielders, but like center backs have been the talk, right? I mean, we're interested here, we're interested there, we're trading up in the re-entry draft or whatever stupid draft it is. I mean, we're making moves, and like all you're hearing about is, okay, we've got another defensive guy coming in here. That's the main thing you got to fix, because you've got depth at on the wings. You've got depth at striker. You still need to find a guy that, when an Almada is not available, who's gonna help out with that, right? I mean, I think that was the only guy last year that you really didn't have a legit backup for, and that you need to figure out. So that's still gonna keep, you're gonna start seeing some more midfield rumors, which we'll get to, one here and a few. But I mean, we're getting there. I think that all the rumors, it's like, people are like, oh, why? What happened during the transfer window? People were like, oh, we're still looking for more wings. Like, why? We have wingers. Well, then you just brought in 2 guys that kind of just took over, right? scoring, assists. It was great. So I think we're hearing the right type of things in this window, and I think this is kind of what they were preparing for. Remember, everybody, this was the most money I think since the beginning that we've had available, right? Like I think, I mean,
If not, it's got to be pretty close to it.
yeah. And someone mentioned earlier in the chat that like we freed up some TAM money with Miles going as well.
Yeah.
So that's another positive of moving on from him. You know, you're getting money, the Ozetu money. You know, you're possibly getting 2 U22 spots gone. Sorry, I keep spoiling your thunder here, but
Oh, you're good. You do your thing.
we got money. We got money.
We got money to throw, money to sling.
And
so go ahead.
oh, and I know this is not a rumor, man, but man,
Are you going to make it
Derek's
a rumor?
Go. He's got to go. He's got to go. We
Are
don't
you
need
making
him
it a
anymore.
rumor?
We have depth.
Okay.
He's got to go. I've been saying it since like leagues cut. Just cut him. Just get rid of him. It's just like what I said earlier. We don't need the money.
Well, there's nobody else that you would really think to use it on right now. I mean, it was pretty obvious last year, right? Like the whole Joseph situation. I think if you were gonna, and you don't have to use your buyout, but I mean, yeah, if you're gonna do it, the guy that didn't really get any playing time after a certain point in the season, and if he did, it was very minimal. You know, I think your wings are stacked now. Not saying that he has to go. If he stays, I hope he settles into Atlanta and just gets it where he needs to be. But I mean, it's not that it's not a surprise, but it's no. I'll just say it was no surprise to anybody by the end of the season that he wasn't playing because he had his opportunities in the first half of the season and just didn't capitalize on them. So yes, Etienne, if you're going to use a buyout, that would be the one. I like Etienne. I do. I like the guy. He's funny. He's really, really cool. But I mean, yeah, if you're not working out, you're not working out. So
he seems like a good team guy. Like I remember the first game, like he was warming up and he was having fun with everybody. And you know, I know he came back from a surgery and we just kept waiting for it, like all of a sudden to turn on. But like when he's not even dressing some games, and once you get out of Pineda's favor, you know, you go into Moreno territory where you just disappear for 6 weeks, and Tyler's, you know, searching every corner of Atlanta to see where Moreno is.
Yep. Which I heard he's actually going back to his home club of Lanús in Argentina. So he's leaving Brazil and headed back to Argentina. So good for him.
So he was let loose to go to Lanús.
Okay. Yeah, go back to Lanús.
Next.
We're already getting into After Dark territory. All right, so piggybacking on that one, because it was reported at the same time from Tom a couple of weeks ago initially. The Gregerson rumor has obviously come almost full circle, but the other one that was mentioned was Jonathan Mensah, and I think it was today that he put out that Jonathan is going to the New England Revolution. And why is that important? Because that was another center back that I think it's pretty obvious that the front office is trying to set this club up and Pineda up to be able to have the flexibility to change things up a little bit. When you have a back line, for example, of John Gregerson and Luis Abram, and then you have another veteran like Jonathan Mensah, you can play a 3-back, 5-back system if you need to and make it work, right? Because you have the talent and the experience back there. We're going to talk about some other ones here in a little bit, but Jonathan Mensah just didn't work out. He went to New England. It is what it is. But I think the amount of rumors coming out from or about Atlanta United about center backs, I think that's just what they're trying to give him the flexibility to do. Because, and I know I've seen it in the chat, a few people talking about Zilf and some others. But yeah, you don't want to force Noah Cobb to be that third guy. He needs time. He needs time with the twos still. Bring him up for certain games, absolutely. But he does not need to be riding the bench for most of the season. That's not going to help his career. That's not going to help the future of Atlanta United. So the dad jokes going on in the chat. I love it.
Sorry, I can't turn it off.
Whatever. That's okay. This is why we balance each other, because I don't have them at all. I do my best. I got 4 kids and I have no dad jokes. I try. Let's see. All right. So we're going to hit on 2 more real quick, and then we have a lot more, but we're going to hit on 2 more, and then we'll talk about something different for a second. But the great, as Henry Higuita would say, the great U22 purge of 2024.
I wish we had a purge button.
Need the siren in the background.
Yeah.
You've got a few.
Oh, Derek Etienne purge music hit.
Wow.
The buyout purge button? Is that?
No,
I know.
Is that you're just trying to purge everybody.
Yeah. I want players that are gonna play.
I'm not arguing with you.
We have Tyler Wolf. We don't need him anymore. It's like,
are you trying to start crap?
What?
Oh, you mean you don't need Etienne? I thought you were saying like we don't need Tyler Wolf either. I was like, dadgum, like.
No. We need Tyler Wolf. Tyler Wolf is you know.
I got the flu. All right. I'm trying to work through my flu game over here. So I caught up with you.
How many goals did you score last season?
Me?
Yeah.
0.5 expected goals.
Okay. I think you did better than Etienne. Okay. Carry on. All right. Purge button.
Purge button. U22 purge. Santiago Sosa, who we've been calling it for a very long time now, wasn't fitting in, wasn't getting any play time, as Tommy said, had been Moreno'd from.
This is better. This is better. Say this.
Go ahead.
Pineda Gattori.
Pineda Gattori.
It doesn't flow off your tongue, but that's what we're gonna call it from now on.
Pineda Gattori.
But Sosa, yeah, he's there.
Yep. So, Racing Club down in Argentina, or Racing Club for all of us Americans that don't know. Racing Club is looking at bringing Santiago Sosa on a loan, which seems to be the preferred way to buy more time before you can move on from somebody that you just aren't going to have as part of the club anymore. But in this one, Cesar Luis Merlo, who we all know is the South American Tommy, or Tom, not Tommy, South American Fabrizio, that they're trying to bring him on. The manager got involved. The manager wants to bring Sosa down there. So I think it's a good move for both sides. I don't see anything about this to be bothered about. You need this defensive midfield role to be fixed entirely. Sosa wasn't getting time. I personally don't feel that Sosa was the guy to fit into the system, but he does have value still. He is going to fit somewhere. I don't know enough about the way Racing plays to say that he's going to fit there, but they seem to think he will. And that's what matters, because it clears up a spot for Atlanta and it gives them what they want. So no issues there. Tommy, you got anything on that one?
Bye.
Now that Tommy's analysis is done.
Yep.
Move on to the other U22. This one may cause a little bit more of a reaction. I don't know. But our good friend Franco Ibarra came out the other day that Rosario Central in Argentina is looking to also bring him down on a loan. So that's 2 of your U22s for Atlanta that you're probably moving out on a loan, probably going to be bought. I would imagine this is probably just a way to buy both teams some time to make things fit the way that they need to fit, which is normal in the world of soccer. But
why don't you explain what this means by going down to one U22?
Okay. You go down to one.
I mean, some people are new.
Well, go ahead.
New season. We might have new listeners, and MLS rules are stupid. We all know that.
Go ahead. I'm going to take a sip of my beer. You go ahead.
You're not supposed to be drinking alcohol when you have the flu, dude.
Oh,
the
really?
opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. Yes.
What does that do?
Oh. I mean, it just doesn't make you better.
Oh,
I couldn't tell if this was a serious question or you were screwing with me. I couldn't
I just thought
figure
that
I
this was
couldn't
a
figure it
neutral thing happening. I was just trying to enjoy my beverage.
So I don't. You'll have to help me with the age part of this because I don't remember. But so yeah, I mean, you as far as DPS go, the one there's the young DP spot, right? And what's the age for that?
I think 23.
Okay, so yeah, what you can have three legit DPS any age that you want, but you can only have one U22 player. Did I get that right?
Yes, if you have yes,
So
but in
right.
Atlanta's situation, it's the inverse. But yes,
Yes. So currently we have Almada, and if you have three U22s, which we still currently do technically, we had four there for a while, which was a
yeah,
fun
it was
time.
weird for a minute.
Yeah, but if you have three, then you are limited to what your third DP is going to be. So that is Almada. You know, he was brought in as a young DP. Now that you have this, you can bring on, you know, we can buy Saba down, which is a possibility. It's been rumored to do here. You'd be able to bring on a DP of any age. There's really no restrictions on what you have to do. And this is if Almada leaves, right? So, because right now Almada's still in the young DP spot, so there's nothing to worry about with that situation. But if Almada leaves, and I don't think we're really expecting him to leave this window. That's the hope and the dream. But if in the summer, if he leaves, we're not restricted on who we have to bring in. We don't have to look at a certain age of a DP that can come in. We can bring in a guy at any age that we want, which I have a feeling is what we want to do because U22 spots are almost like lottery picks, right? A lot of them don't work out. Some do. Some take a few years to get up and going. I think Atlanta United right now, they don't want to wait around for some of these young players to develop. They want to win now. And I think that this is the situation that they want to get into. So this is more, I think, helps us in the summer than anything. That when Amada goes, that you can go and replace him with another DP of any age, and that's going to be huge for us down the line.
And the decision was made, I think, pretty easy in terms of which U22 you were going to keep because Edwin Mosquera came back from loan, which was that weird situation in the summer where we had four DPs temporarily. Obviously, they didn't have to be compliant until a certain time, but there were four DPs. And that was why Ibarra got loaned in the first place. But Mosquera came back and had a heck of a season in the second half. He did a phenomenal job. He scored a few goals. He got involved as essentially a super sub. You know, he would come off the bench and just run at tired legs. And we've been saying on this show a lot that he was a work in progress, but that's what you want out of a U22. But like you said, and if I'm the front office, I'm looking at the U22 spot. I would much rather have three DPs in the Garth Lager way, you know, prime of their career and one U22 than take up those U22 spots and force yourself to have to stay with somebody young. If you have Edwin Mosquera, who you have on a 4-year contract anyway, you let him do his thing, continue to develop, and if he keeps doing what he's doing, you're gonna have offers for him. But worst case scenario, he continues to develop, and you've got another phenomenal winger that's growing into that position that can play as the backup alongside Tyler Wolf to Saba or Shande Silva. And it helps when you got, you know, call ups or whatever else may be going on. Not, you know, obviously Saba's going to be getting called up. So it just makes sense. And yes, I think you'll see more of this in the summer in terms of like where it really benefits Atlanta, but it's good. It's a good thing to have happen.
What a roller coaster the U22 spot has been, right? You bring on Eric Lopez, and Zilf started the entire fan club of Eric Lopez, and there's so much promise for him. And then you got Sosa and Ibarra, and Sosa comes out real hot. Just playing. Everyone's saying these passes are beautiful. He's the future of our midfield. And then Heinze leaves, sicknesses happen, injuries happen, and then Ibarra's the hot hand, right? Like, oh, Ibarra's taking over Sosa. He's doing pretty well, right? And we thought that he improved a lot. Last summer we were talking about him and saying he's been one of the bright spots, and we thought that was going to continue to happen because we weren't sure what was going to happen with Sosa. Sosa really doesn't come back and really make much of a thing this season. And then Mosquera's, we had to loan him out at the beginning of the season because nobody wanted Eric Lopez. This sounds like a soap opera.
Yeah,
And
this is a
then
drama.
Mosquera's not playing anywhere. And then, they said it was planned that he was coming back. It was not planned. Nobody wanted him. And then he comes back in, and then all of a sudden he's going off. And, we saw that last season, right? Like you saw Mosquera had some moments where it's like his speed was affecting the end of games. And that was when we were bad, right? Like that we were god awful last year. And now I guess 2 years ago, technically, since the season's over.
Yeah.
But this year, he comes onto a good team, a good offensive-minded team, and he's getting these passes. He's able to get loose, be able to use that speed, and what happens? We're scoring goals. So yeah, I mean, this is the obvious choice that we were hoping for. Nobody had it on their bingo card when he came back. Tyler, I know you love Mosquera, but you did not think that there's no way you would have thought that he would produce at the rate that he has here.
Not at the rate.
And
No.
it's in big moments. It's absolutely in big moments. And like a couple times where he's in the game for 2 minutes and his first sprint is a goal. And the playoff goal, obviously clutch there. It's great to see him come in and, make an immediate impact. And, for the Pineda haters out there, because there's many. I mean, you talk about young players, and you've seen proof of concept with him, right? Look at Tyler Wolf, Machop Chol. Who am I missing? Firmino.
Yep.
And Mosquera's a young player still, and he's come in and he's been able to produce. So yeah, I mean, this is good to see because I think you wanted to see these young players, be able to take effect. And Frank de Boer was pretty good with young players as well. And now you're seeing, this Pineda be here for a while, and these young players are coming in and making immediate impacts on the first team. And you can't complain, but there's nothing to complain about with that.
And yeah, and I'm seeing in the chat, like Tim saying, I don't miss the wild swings that the roster the U22 slot was used for. I agree. I think you don't want to gamble on 3 roster spots. It's okay to gamble on 1, right? As long as your analytics and your guys that are scouting can go out and really, really take a good look at whatever U22 targets you're looking at and pick 1. You sign them for a pretty good deal, right? Bring them up. And then the risk is high. I'm sorry, the risk is low. The reward is high. But you don't want to have 3 wild cards that are just sitting on the bench, if that, right? Never playing. You don't want to waste that. So I would much rather have 3 full DPs and 1 U22, and then you develop that 1 U22 and let him go do his thing. I like that. I like that concept much better. If we're in these rules, that's how I would like to see it done. That's just me. So,
well, and you gave Heinze complete control of the U22 spot. Like he went out and got his guys that he was interested in.
I don't think anybody knew the rules at the point anyway. Like we brought a guy in who didn't even know MLS rules, right? And then the U22 thing was brand new at the time. And it's just like, I got money to spend. Let me bring in whoever. And here we are.
Yeah, and like these guys usually get signed, the U22s get signed for long-term contracts because they're an investment. It's not a 1-year contract that you're bringing these guys on. It's multiple years. And unfortunately then if they're a bust, we've learned, right, with Eric Lopez, that it's really hard to get rid of them. And then it's like, loan. Oh, nobody wants to take them? Crap, we got to get this figured out quick.
Yep. All right, so we're going to time out for a moment because we have plenty of other transfer rumors, transfer news to chat about. This is the perfect segue into my next topic. AJ saying, hi, Coach Tyler's Elijah. Big fan of the show. Elijah, that's awesome. I'm so glad that was perfect timing. It's one of my kids I was coaching earlier. Well, I guess early last year. Now I keep forgetting we're in 2024, but I say all that to say, I want to talk really quick about a fundraiser that you may not have heard of. It has been kind of popping up from Jason Longshore, 92.9 The Game's been bringing it up. I've been talking with Jason, And if you're not familiar with the mini pitches that Atlanta United has partnered with a variety of organizations throughout the state, they're opening them up all over Metro Atlanta, down in Savannah, all over the state. Essentially, what it is they provide mini pitches across the they provide donations for mini pitches to be built across the state in different communities, just to give kids a place to go play, to have academies, to have training, to just for a variety of things, right? There's one that 92 on the game, Jason Longshore and those folks are going to be putting on a fundraiser for to benefit the Southern Crescent Soccer Foundation, which is down in my neck of the woods. And kind of hits near and dear to me because the place that this is going in is actually the park that I grew up playing. I actually played baseball in this park. It's Alexander Park down in McDonough, Georgia. So they're just in the initial stages of trying to raise money and then get Atlanta to match that donation of $100,000. A lot of money to raise, obviously, but I'm going to share some stuff up here on the screen. I'm going to share some stuff in the chat, some links. On January 25th, 92.9 The Game and Jason Longshore's show, Atlanta Soccer Tonight, they are going to be putting on a Topgolf fundraiser. You can bring yourself, by yourself. You can bring a team. You can sponsor it. You can do what you want with it. But you can come in, have some fun, play some Topgolf, and put in some money towards this mini pitch that is being planned. They just broke the ground on it ceremonially a couple weeks ago, actually, right before Christmas. So if you were interested in the Topgolf event, again, January 25th, 7 to 10, it's at Topgolf in Midtown, 1600 Ellsworth Industrial Boulevard. I'm going to put up the link in the chat now. And for those of y'all listening after the fact on the podcast, it'll be up on our social media. I'll make sure it gets up on our social media. I'm also going to be doing an article about it on scarvesandspikes.com and dirtysouthsoccer.com. But this is the link, the one I'm posting now. It's on Southern Crescent Soccer Foundation's website, which is scsoccerfoundation.com. Got the direct link there going out. That is for the Topgolf thing. But you can also, if you don't feel like going and swinging a club, can't make it, whatever, they also have a GoFundMe set up. And I'm not even going to try to share this verbally because the link is super long, but I'm going to post this in the chat as well. This is the GoFundMe. So a little bit about this place, which is really neat. So Alexander Park, again, I grew up there playing as a kid, which, when I heard that this was going to be a target, when this was going to be a place that they were going to try to build one of these pitches, I was thrilled because I was 4 years old playing baseball in this park, right? And the spot where they're actually putting the mini pitch is right off the main road, and it's this big slab of concrete is what it is now. But years and years ago, it was actually the community pool here in McDonough. And when desegregation happened, they actually cemented in this pool, and it's been there ever since. It's just been a giant slab of concrete. So it's kind of a symbolic thing that the city of McDonough is trying to do to just, again, push forward, move away from the craziness that has happened in the past with segregation, and just be a symbol of just forward progress in our sport and what we're doing as a community. So yes, these pitches are being built all over the state. This one means a lot to me personally. I just think it's really great. So yeah, if you guys, I'm going to be there at the Topgolf event. So I'd love to see you guys come hang out. Jason and John Chuckery are going to be broadcasting live from there on 92.9 The Game. So it'll be a fun time. It'll be a really cool time. Again, you can bring a team of 4, sign up. You can just show up and donate. They'll put you on a team, do your thing. So go check it out if you can. Every little bit helps. If again, GoFundMe, you can donate just a little bit if you want to, but I know they would appreciate it. I would appreciate it. And I'm going to show up here on the screen. So sorry for those that are listening after the fact. You'll just have to look at the social media for these images. But I looked at them and it was wild because I'm checking out these overhead views with the pitch put into this spot where this pool used to be, right? And I'm looking at all these places that there's this giant rock I'll show you that I used to play on as a kid, right? Up at the top of the screen in the middle. You see a big rock sitting there. But this is what the pitch is essentially going to look like. It is again, one of the small ones, but it's going to be built out really well. And yeah, the donations, it's not cheap, guys. So like that's why they're putting these out there. They're doing the Top Golf event. But it's going to be a really neat place, a really fun place. I know for a fact, because I've lived here my entire life, I know it'll benefit this community because it is right outside the McDonough Square. Kids have very few places to go in and around this area to go and kick a soccer ball. Yes, you can go find a field. Yes, they have fields, official fields that are almost always in use, or you can't have access to them because they're locked at certain times. So to have something like this in the community would be really, really phenomenal. So again, check it out. We'll have the articles up here in a week or so. But that's my soapbox moment. And from the bottom of my heart, I would truly appreciate it if y'all go and check it out and help make it a reality. And I'm done. Flu game.
You're good at infomercials.
I don't know. I don't think I've got a career in that.
Yeah.
But
don't sell yourself short.
I'm struggling with this congestion. Man, I see people still talking about not drinking this variety of beverage.
No, you should not be drinking alcohol.
Whatever. A minute.
My daughter I just found out my daughter's upstairs with strep. She shouldn't be drinking alcohol either.
I was about to say, is she drinking alcohol too?
Maybe. I don't know.
All right.
So who's next? What's the next rumor?
The next rumor is, as I get myself situated here, this is the big one. I'm gonna butcher all of these names. I know it, but Bartosz Slis is a Polish defensive midfielder who is on quite a few teams' radars. But I think the initial report coming out from the Polish outlet Maziki, I think is how you pronounce that. We're going to go with it. Guys, I've tried to do my research on these names. It's just not easy. Polish is not an easy language. But
it's better when you mispronounce things. It's more fun.
It is. Playing in Warsaw. I'm just going to say Warsaw. Atlanta reportedly, and this came out a couple of weeks ago, but Atlanta reportedly sent scouts over to watch him play in the Europa Conference League. So they're heavily interested in him. I would put that as a safe bet. He is a traditional 6, so exactly what this team needs, but one similar to Tristan Muyumba that likes, or not likes, I won't say likes, can play forward and get up the field when he needs to, but he is defense first, very defensive minded. Jeffrey, what's up? Omar saying it's Bartosz Slish. So we'll go with that. That's Omar coming in with the facts. No, he's going to be if this happens, I think he's going to be probably one of the most potentially impactful players that they sign in this offseason. You desperately need somebody that can come in and do the job that Tristan Muyumba did at the number 8 position at the number 6. Because we talk about defense. That defense, the biggest hole in the defense this season, I know people are going to say goalkeeper. I know people are going to blame the center backs, but it was the defensive midfield position. Yes, it would have been nice for, you know, the shot stopping of goalkeepers to have been a little bit better this season. Is what it is. When you're getting put in crappy situations game in and game out, there's only so much you can do. So yes, there's blame to go around, but you need a defensive midfielder that's going to handle business. And Slish, I think, is the one. So I'm excited, but so are apparently a lot of other teams. And Trabzonspor out of Turkey is one, and Let's in Serie A in Italy is another one. And I think they have kind of come out as one of the, I think, probably the biggest competitor to Atlanta for this deal. So, and it's a Serie A team. So it's kind of a big deal.
Do you think he would be a DP?
No. Nope. I don't think so. I think based on I mean, it could be. Not to say that the value's not there, but I think they are able to work something out. Again, unless Serie A comes in with a ton of money, I think they can get him on a TAM deal. I think. We'll see.
It'd be nice to be able to do that and leave that spot open, which, we hear all these rumors, and the real question is, and maybe we don't even use it this window, but what do you do with that DP spot that you potentially could open up with Sub, which is not a guarantee. We've been told it's not a guarantee that they buy him down. But if you listen to Garth Lagerwey last summer when they brought Saba on, he was very proud to say that we now have flexibility, that if we want to add someone, we have the opportunity to.
I don't think they rush it if they don't have to. And I also don't think you see a situation like what happened with Giacomakis last year, where the only way that you were going to guarantee you got him was to make him a DP. Because you remember last year with Giacomakis, you had Urawa in Japan going after him, and they were fully prepared to throw money like Atlanta was. But Giacomakis admittedly wanted to come to the U.S. That was his preferred destination, but they couldn't give the offer to compete until they started throwing DP money around. So I don't think you're in that position this year. You had to have a Giacomakis, or this season was totally different. You have to have a number 6, but I'm confident that they have others that they could potentially use or find or transfer if this one doesn't work out. I hope it does. Again, from what I've seen from the videos, you've got a guy that he's aggressive. He's great with the ball at his feet in tight spaces, which is, if you're going to play out of the back, you have to have somebody that's going to hold the ball and be confident with it. But so, yeah. And then, the fact that they did go over there, Tim bringing up a really good point. One of the big things for Giacomakis this past season was the fact that Carlos went over there and had that conversation with him. He said that in his first press conference. He felt, special in a way, essentially, that Carlos would actually go to Scotland to chat with him and essentially sell the club to him. You had representatives, is what it was reported as, from Atlanta. So who knows who that is? I'm sure it was probably Spectre, chief scout. Maybe it was Carlos. I don't know. But you hope that they were able to sell the club in the same way they did to Giacomakis, and they can secure this, because all the people for Bordeaux, all the fans of Bordeaux that are upset about Stian Gregerson leaving, those sentiments are echoed with Poland or with Warsaw, because this guy is the real deal. He's got a bright future ahead of him. He's only 24, but he's playing well beyond his years. So I'm trying not to get too excited, because you have so much competition, but I really hope this one comes to fruition.
We're getting greedy. We're involved in too many players at the moment.
No, this is how it needs to be. Last year, this was a drought last year. We had nothing.
We had no money. You had no money. And like that, that was like a thing. Like, people were so critical of the offseason last year, but you had no money. Like, Garth Lagerwey prepped us the minute he signed. Yeah, our roster situation sucks, and there was one person that was in charge of it. It wasn't Darren Eales. Darren Eales had nothing to do with money there. You could tell, right? He was having fun. He was doing shots, in the parking lot. He was getting, the World Cup to Atlanta. Like, that was his job. Boca
He did a
was,
job. Did a good job.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Mission accomplished on everything there. He just should have signed an accountant to, help Boca here. And, that's when you started running into the troubles that we had. And now this is spending day, baby. We get a rumor every day.
I like it. I like it a lot. AX1010 in the chat saying dude's legit. Got very excited when I saw the news on him. My cousin in Poland hit me up about the news. Also from Poland saying he'll help us out with the pronunciation. So when he gets signed, we know who to go to. But
Two more.
Hang on. I got my fancy banners I'm trying to get set up here. Danilo Maldonado receiving strong interest, in quotes, from Atlanta United. This was Diario Deportivo Diez in Mexico. Maldonado is a Honduran international. Spent the last season on loan with LAFC. Played 21 matches for LAFC. Had a pretty good go of it. Great in the air. I think it's probably one of his stats that stand out a lot to me. But another center back, right? So this is another guy, and we're talking about center back rumors. This is another guy that can come in, has experience, and not leave you out to dry when you go play Columbus Crew in Columbus for the first international break of the season and you get shafted 6-1. This is another guy that is going to be there. I mean, he's going to play for Honduras most likely, but you're going to have a guy that, again, is not somebody that is going to have to prove themselves. He's proved himself in this league already. But he was on loan from Motagua in Mexico and is, looking likely, I think, to make it to Atlanta. He's another one, I think, as a depth piece or maybe competition for Luis Abram. I think it's a good shout. I like it. He didn't really play much in the playoffs. I think he got a red card. I was looking. I can't remember if it was when he was playing for Honduras or if it was in a playoff match. But I think it was when they played Mexico, actually. He just had a rough go of it. But other than that, stats-wise, he's solid. He was getting time. It's not like he hasn't played in a long time. He was getting plenty of minutes this season. So definitely another one to keep an eye out on.
This is why I'm talking, and we still have to talk about Derek Williams here. You don't trade up for a spot if you're not trying to bring him on. But you're involved in a lot of center backs, and I understand that a couple of these, maybe one or potentially two, could just fall through, right? Like, it's not impossible for some of this. But say Gregerson's legit, right? And then Diaz comes in. And then we end up signing Derek Williams. It's getting pretty crowded. You still have Cobb there as well. You're getting into a crowded room. And Abram, I think, was, just talking money-wise, I was pretty sure that we were kind of surprised on how much that he was making. I have to go back and look. While you talk about Derek Williams, I'll go look at the salary guide. But I'm curious.
It was up there. It was like 670,000, I think.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know. I don't know how he likes it here, right? Like, that's, it took him quite a while to get, accustomed to his spot, getting playing time, right? He was not getting, Prada was taking most of that time. And then, I think it was Prada and Abram played together, and then when Miles came back, they just eventually, put Prada on the shelf and gave it to Abram for the rest of the year. I don't know. I could just see a complete changing of the guard at that position. Let's talk about Derek Williams.
Okay. We'll talk about Derek Williams because then there's a point related to all that. Derek Williams, who has been radio silent since the reentry draft. Atlanta traded to sign his rights in the re-entry draft. They had 7 days per the rules to give him essentially what's a bona fide offer, right? And I think a lot of people are on this train where they think just because we haven't heard anything means that that didn't happen, or whatever. I think what it comes down to is you have so many moving parts, kind of like what you're talking about, Tommy, where you have so many potential center back signings. You're not going to close the door on anything until you have to. And also, the offer just has to be made. Whether it's accepted or not doesn't have to happen in 7 days. Atlanta, if it is refused, Atlanta still has the first right to essentially work with him and come to an agreement on what deal would be good that they can make work. So just because you haven't heard anything about Derek Williams since then doesn't mean that's a done deal, in the sense that he's not going to come here. He may not, but you can't count that out yet, because you're talking about it getting very crowded back there, and that is absolutely right. But let's say, right, all right, so Miles is gone. You have Luis Abram, Peruvian international. Stian Gregerson, Norwegian international. So there's your likely your two starting center backs gone on an international break. You have Daniel Maldonado, who is a Honduran international, also probably gone during international break, which leaves Noah Cobb, Efrain Morales, and potentially Derek Williams as your other three. So I don't know. It is definitely an interesting situation. Now, are they all going to play in international breaks at the same time? Maybe not. But
I watched that Columbus game. Everybody left at the same time.
Yes, they did. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying there may be a moment where it doesn't happen, right? But it's crowded up until it isn't. When it isn't, then you're going to be left with one guy who came up through the Aston Villa Academy, or Aston Villa played with them for a long time, and then he played with the Galaxy, played with DC, and then he's going to be your bit of experience back there when everybody else is gone. That's not the worst thing in the world, but yes, it is a lot of movement back there that can throw off chemistry during an international break. I hate the international break. I love watching the games in the international break, but I hate when Atlanta plays during an international break. It sucks. But that's where we're at right now. That's and again, if all of these moves were to go through, that's what you've got. You're going to have a lot of guys going out on international duty. Giacomakis, Almada, potentially Brooks Lennon, because I think he's just on the cusp of breaking into at least one of the camps next year, maybe. Caleb Wiley, gone for the Olympics next year. Almada, gone for the Olympics next year. These three of these center backs that they're looking at, gone for international breaks. Who am I missing? It's ridiculous. Saba.
So what happens when you get good players on your team, right?
Tyler Wolf, gone for the Olympics next year. Sorry, I'm just going on.
Just looking at the salary guide, and you were right. Brahms just under 700,000. I'm just looking at the top 12 players that we have here. Potentially, you could out of the top 12 of what you're paying, 7 of them would be gone.
That's crazy.
Out of the 12. Which, Barco, I know that he was still technically on the cap, $2 million. Miles Robinson, 1.4. Who's that dude? 760,000, Lord Almighty. Abram, 700. Santiago Sosa, just under 700. Etienne, just on 675. Franco Ibarra, 620. Like, you're cleaning out all these contracts, and it's pretty crazy. And you still got Guzan at 600,000. I mean, that's wild that you're really cleaning up a lot of the mess that you've created, right? And you haven't even used your buyout yet. And Derek Etienne would have to be that, because no one's going to trade for that contract. Nobody would. From there, you're not moving him unless you buy him out.
Yeah, and yeah, Dan also pointing out on this all same topic, he did play for the Irish national team. I don't know that he's still in that conversation, but yes, he has had caps before. So you the thing is, you've got a lot of money to play with, which is a good problem to have. Garth has the ability to totally redefine this team going into 2024 and Boca. But those, that's where we're at right now. Center back heavy rumors, defense heavy rumors, which is what you want because they've got the goalkeeper situation sorted now. You've got Brad still there as of now. You got Josh Cohen. You've still got Westberg. So, and then you've got some guys for the twos coming in. So you've made the pieces fall, and you're just working your way up the pitch at this point because you really don't have to worry about your wing backs, your wingers, your central midfielder. I mean, it'd be nice to maybe have somebody else back there just in case, but you got Firmino, and I think Firmino is a great option. And then you've got Almada, who that's the wild card. We never know what's going to happen. But then you've got Yako and Jamal Tiare out there, and that's not a bad problem to have. So we knew that this was going to be a very defense-oriented offseason, and so far there's lots to be excited about. You have a lot of potential moves happening, and I'm sure we'll hear more over the next few days and going into next week, and preseason's getting ready to kick off soon too, which is wild that we're already here. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff going on.
Can I share a text that I put into our group chat?
Absolutely.
We don't have much to discuss. Hopefully some rumors. But so far it looks like we're going to have a short episode.
And here we are.
and yep, there we are. That was you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yep. That was good though. That was good. And we had mentioned hitting on some comments. Was there anything that popped up that you saw that you like? That was a good comment that we got to go back and hit on, because there were plenty of good ones.
Yeah, I know this entire conversation's fun because I think it's been boring, right? We've had so many windows where we've just sat there and it's like, yeah, we can't do too much. We're stuck, and now it's there's moving parts. There's U22s, so what does that open up for? Even the summer, right? Like the summer could be leading up to something fun, right? You're still on Almada watch. Like there's so much still to happen with this roster, and it's happening early, which is, again, I mean, I've said this the last couple of weeks, but like you want to be on Visa watch for the home opener against Columbus, right? You're hoping you can field a good team against the defending champions and potentially upset them on opening day. And getting everybody into training camp, right? Like I think that's very important. Pineda has constantly said like that's something very important to him, is to get everybody there healthy. We had quite a few players that went into that injured. So yeah, I mean this is going to be very important for this team, and yeah, I mean we're gonna we'll be here the entire rest of the short off season. We still got, Tyler and I were talking about, we still got the kit. We haven't seen any kit rumors.
Yep.
I went back and looked at my ugly green kit that I have, and it does say like on there, it says at the bottom 2022-2023 season. So I think that kills that as a potential rumor of that jersey. I'm still going to be really upset. We need to see some rumors. I check DH Gate every day. I type in Atlanta United to see if anything comes in there, because we've caught leaks from DH Gate before, but nothing yet. I would guess probably start seeing some leaks here in the next probably 2 weeks, and then it'll be another 2 weeks before we actually get anything official. I really hope that they have the guy that did Uncle Ruckus's voice do the video, because they did that 2 years ago with the Forest kit, and I was rolling because it was really good. It was really well done, but also I couldn't hear anybody else but Uncle Ruckus. That was great. I want a cool kit. I want a cool away kit. It's been a while. Yeah. The white one was the gold one. I mean, one, it just reminds me of COVID, and all white jerseys in general. My wife will tell you this because, she drinks wine. All white kits should just be abolished. You should not have those, because beer showers, hard to get stains out of white. No, it should. Yep. That should not be a thing.
I totally agree. So do you then let me ask you this, because you've had all these light colors. If you had your pick of colors for an alternate kit, what would you do?
Hmm. I mean, I. What's your favorite away kit? Let me ask you that.
The peach kit, King Peach.
Okay, mine too. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, something orangish
I actually like
again.
the strawberries and concrete or whatever it was called too. I actually didn't
Yeah, it was
mind
all
that
right.
one. It was all right. Yeah. I would like to see something gold oriented. Like obviously you can't throw too much gold at
Not
something.
not not like that other one.
No, 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 no. That was awful. Not to mention like it was white and gold lettering. Like you can't even read that. That was
No.
stupid. Um, no, something gold oriented with some black and red kind of mixed in. The peach thing was cool because it was Georgia, but
Hmm.
you could keep your same colors, right? Like the regular Atlanta United primary three colors, and just alternate it a little bit and do some cool stuff with it, and you could have a pretty sweet away kit. But um, speaking of, that's perfect timing. We want to hear from y'all about what you would like to see in a kit. Whether you put it on our social media or you come and join our Patreon, patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes, get on our Discord, everything else we have going on over there. But we want some ideas. We want some ideas because we're trying to come up with something pretty cool for y'all. And we want something that people like. We don't want to come out with another King's kit or whatever it was called, something white and gold. We don't want that. We want something that the people like. So let us know what y'all would like to see in a kit that has to do with our show.
The Marta kit's pretty cool. I've
Yeah.
seen some mocked up Marta kits.
Yep. The Olympic kit, Tim talking about the Olympic kit as well. Yeah. Tim talking about the Marta kit. Niall talking about the Marta kit.
Can someone convince MLS just to release the kits early? Like, this is so ridiculous that like most people don't have the kit before the first game. Like a lot of them
Yeah.
are buying them at the first game. Like every time I've gone to the opening day and it's the first week, I get it shipped, and it's not there in time. It's never there. It always arrives the day of the game, and I'm in another state, so I can't grab it. I have to ship
I
it to
wish
you
they
next
would.
time.
I wish they would do it a couple of days after MLS Cup. So then you have
Well,
the
before Christmas would be genius because you'd
yeah,
make
that's
a
what I'm
ton of
saying.
money.
You make a ton
Um,
of money off Christmas sales.
yeah, like people don't want to buy old MLS stuff in for Christmas. People for Christmas because it's just going to be 80% off on
Yep.
December 26th, anyways.
Yep.
But
But
whatever the weight kit is whatever that is, it usually sparks the rest of your merch for the year, right?
yeah.
Like whatever the hoodie, the awesome travel hoodies that they always have, are going to be that color and everything else. So it really kind of sets everything up for what they sell. So I'm excited. But now it brings up a really good point, man. Just the cost of kits is beyond ridiculous at
Yeah.
this point. Like it costs as much as an NHL jersey, like an NHL jersey with sleeves,
Yep.
right? With sleeves, there's no sleeves. It's
I
just
agree.
it's way too expensive. My only hope, and there's been no rumors of this, but if every kit is like the Miami one, where it's all centered, then that's a disaster. And I'm really hoping we haven't seen any other kits leaked. We've only seen Miami. So hopefully that's not a thing for this year. Now we haven't seen any rumors of any other leagues in Adidas doing this, but I'm just hoping that that's
Yeah.
not a thing because what LAFC did that too, where they had their right. Didn't they
I think
have?
it was LAFC. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure LA had that too. Um, but I saw a list of rumors of teams that are gonna likely have a third kit. We weren't listed on it.
Well, I think all the ones coming up this year are going to be Western Conference teams because all the third kits from last year, I think, were all Eastern Conference.
Is that a thing? I thought it had to do with how many jerseys you sold.
Well, it does, but I kind of wonder if they're trying to take it to a like they do with home and away kits, where maybe the East Coast some teams get a third kit. Some of the best selling quote unquote teams, and then the West Coast or Western Conference has some of their best-selling teams have a third kit. That
You don't
wouldn't
wear them
surprise me.
enough. You don't wear them enough either. Like that's, I guess, the frustrating part. As a jersey, obsessionist, I want to see, like, I want to see it, and it's just weird that they don't release them until much later in the year, where you've got maybe 3 or 4 opportunities to wear it.
Would you take the 404 kit as just the away kit if you could?
Yeah, I think fans would love it. I think Atlanta
Yeah.
United, that's probably one of the best things they did, at least being able to experience it at the playoff game, was
Yeah.
that you change the entire environment of the Bens, right? I mean, they were playing 90s music, which was really cool. Everything, the graffiti was everywhere.
BLB on the
It's
goal
just,
scorers, which they've been doing
yeah, like
permanently.
it's cool. Like basketball, like they do that with I forget what the term is, but they're alternate jerseys that they do. They bring different courts out.
Yeah.
That's really cool that they do things like that. So if they can do, if I'm sure other teams don't do what we do. We should probably bring some trees out, for the forest kit, right? Just put random talking trees, Lord of the Rings style.
Harry Potter, here we go.
Yeah. No, but like I like that they and Atlanta United's really good with doing this with pretty much all their jerseys.
Yeah.
They come out like, they had the whole gold thing where people were sitting in, that room of gold or whatever. That was cool. And then COVID happened like 2 days later. But I mean, that was pretty cool that they were able to do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think they've got some more of the right folks in there to kind of make that happen here from the beginning of the season now. So I think you're going to start seeing more of that kind of community engagement, which is going to be great. Speaking of, we gave away a flag on our last episode, an Atlanta United flag. We're going to be doing another one of those soon. But keep an eye out for other giveaways because we have some more stuff coming up as well. That is going to be awesome. But again, patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes. You go get some other insider content, some more fun stuff. I have an Xbox One. I'm sorry, Xbox Series X. I had an Xbox One. So now we can do some FIFA streaming, maybe some Halo streaming, and just chat and talk crap about whatever. So we'll be doing some of that. Talking about with other insiders in MLS as the season gets ready to get kicked off. All kinds of stuff. So patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes, scarvesandspikes.com, which has our shop on it as well. Got our articles. Got things going on there. Yeah, we've got a lot going on. So y'all keep an eye out. 2024 is here and kicking it off with a bang. Plenty of rumors, plenty of things happening.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us. And if you're new, we'll have a lot of fun. And yeah, join the Discord. The group is growing.
Yes.
And we share a lot of stuff there, and we'll be doing some fun stuff there.
And as the last thing before I go, just to keep it on the feed for folks to see, I'm throwing up the 2 links for the mini pitch that I talked about earlier. You got the Top Golf thing, the Top Golf fundraiser, and then you have just a GoFundMe if you can't make it to the Top Golf event, which is on January 25th. But obviously any little amount of money will help. It will help get this thing going, and I will get to watch my childhood park transform into something really, really cool, and I'm excited about it. But Tommy, anything else?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and we will see y'all next week. Peace.
Will it be a short episode, though? That's the question.
We said it's going to be a long episode. Maybe.
Oh, Dan's here. Dan came an hour and 34 minutes into it. Welcome, Dan.
Bringing the heat, too.
Wait for the after credit scene. We saved it for you. Thanos shows up and snaps his fingers, and all the U-22s are gone.
See you guys.